what I thought was design, so, like funny enough, was like watercolor paintings. Like
Uh-huh.
what I thought was typography was like calligraphy, like those like
Right.
yeah, really like basic white mom stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jesse Nyberg podcast. I'm here with the designer Jasmin. She's really talented and I'm excited to talk to her. And it's 2 a.m. where she's at, but she looks awake enough and ready to go for the interview. How you
Yeah.
doing?
Why did I just suddenly get like really nervous? I don't know. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Um, I'm like a bit inactive on my Instagram right now, but I've been working on these two projects for feels like feels like 3 months, 4 months already, but it's only been like I think since the end of 36 days.
Oh, okay.
I haven't yeah, I haven't stopped working and like I took on two projects at the same time and
And they're pretty big.
initially it was supposed to be like four and thank God like two of them turned me down eventually. So like now I'm just doing these two ones. But
Yeah.
it's good. I'm like honestly really really burnt out, but like in a good way. Not
Yeah.
like
I get
I don't
that.
hate what I do. Yeah.
How do you kind of balance doing all the is that why when you notice when you're having more projects you become a little less inactive on the internet because you kind of have that stuff to
I
handle
think
first?
even when I'm not like doing any projects, I'm still like not the most active Instagram user, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it, I don't
But
know, people look, some people have like different ways of looking at it. Like you have good work and the stuff you post is usually like really good. And I feel like when you have like a nice consistent style and you post even enough to like just keep people there and entertained, it doesn't really matter if you're there like all the time, as long as you're not just posting bad stuff every once in a while. If you're posting good work every once in a while, that's better than
yeah,
a bunch of whatever stuff, you know?
yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. Like every work I put out, like I have to be like 100% like I'm proud of this shit. Like this is like look at this, everyone look at this.
Yeah.
And that's for like every post I do. Not to be like boastful or anything, but that's going on my Instagram for like my friends to see. Like,
Right. I feel like that's a good way
mhm,
of looking at it though, because I think the way that a lot of people nowadays look at stuff is like, content and like just getting all this stuff out there. But at the end of the day, like if people aren't familiar with your work, or they're not, or they don't know you from other like channels or platforms, if you put out something that you're not like super confident in and you
mhm,
don't think is your best like representation of yourself, then that could be like the only thing they end up seeing. And then that's
yeah,
like their impression of you, and you, even though you have like all this amazing other work.
yeah. It's really funny because like the the one of the clients that I'm working with right now, or like the last few clients,
Hmm.
they would they would reach out to me and like I think like oh they're interested in my like most recent work because that's what you see first, right?
Right.
But like when I always like email them like okay so what is it from my Instagram that like you have like any references so we can like start with that. They
Hmm.
always reference the ones from like October last year.
Oh,
Like
really?
wait, yeah, so like weird, cool. So like I don't really feel the need to like uh keep up like
Yeah.
post
Once this
keep a
stuff's
schedule
already
or
there,
anything.
it's kind of like
Uh,
if they're referencing old
mhm.
stuff anyway, you feel like you're not that like pressed to be like putting out tons of new content and whatnot.
Yeah, I've just like I don't know. I don't see the appeal in that anymore. I at the beginning, yeah, like I want to get a lot of followers, a lot of likes, but now I just don't like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah.
can you give people a little bit of background on you, like as a designer, and how you kind of got into it?
Mm, long, long, long story. Cause like I've always been interested in like art first, but like I wasn't ever good in drawing or like
Right.
human anatomy or anything. But I guess I figured out I like design. Um, but how do I say this? I didn't end up going to design school first. I ended up in like a different school because my grades weren't good enough, and it was like some national exams, like really competitive. And I ended up in this like engineering course. It was like one of the last few options, and I was there for about like 3 semesters, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and hated every second of it. I only stayed for like friends, but like after a while, I got like really sick of it, and I thought like, okay, I cannot go to this school anymore. I'm gonna do design. Um,
Yeah.
like my plan was just to drop out at first, but I couldn't like drop out and like tell my parents like, okay, I'm gonna drop out without like a plan B. So like I looked into like design school and stuff. I don't know why I didn't just do that in the first place because like
Yeah.
they didn't really like focus on your grades like
Mm-hmm.
at all. Um, you just needed like a portfolio, and the thing was I didn't have one like up until was it so when I dropped out, I had like 4 months to prepare like
Mm-hmm.
something to show them like please take me in this school. Like I want to do design. I don't want to do like
Yeah.
anything right now. Um and like what I thought was design, so, like funny enough, was like watercolor paintings. Like
Uh-huh.
what I thought was typography was like calligraphy, like those like
Right.
yeah, really like basic white mom stuff. Um yeah. And they took me in because I don't know, I think it was the way I don't really know actually. I think it's the way I express myself and like answering their questions that was more important.
Right.
So like, yeah, I got in the day of the interview. Really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. Um,
yeah.
I think, can you try hitting that fan real quick? I think it might be picking up a little bit now.
Oh really?
Yeah, if that's cool.
Curious.
But
I,
if you get like super hot or something, you could turn it on.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was starting to make like some weird little buzzing noises, but anyway, yeah, I think that when you're first starting out in design and like especially applying to like schools and stuff, it's very nervous, but I think that you're not really expected to like have this crazy grasp of like the programs or like typography or like all these design theories. Like I think they're mostly looking at um like for lack of a better word or like term, like your design thinking, like if you're even going to be
Yeah.
like available to like do these types of projects and like how you actually like, I'm sure that like the more outside the box and like the different things you approach, the better. I remember when I applied, like everyone just had like pencil drawings and shit, like no one really had like any experience
Yeah,
with
that's
like
normal.
actual
Yeah.
design. And I had like some Illustrator stuff from high school, and it was just like shitty like vector shapes that I like created, and I felt like even that was like, wow, like he's used Illustrator before, like that's like a little bonus,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't good.
hmm It's really funny because like what you said about design thinking, and they were asking you about that. One of the questions that they asked me, I still remember to this day, was, "What does the color purple mean to you?" Like
Really?
what? Yeah, like what am I supposed to say? Like straight up like engineering course school, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
What do I
pretty
say?
heady.
I don't
I
even remember what I said to
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like some of that stuff can get like pretty, I don't know, I guess like pretentious or like kind of like over the top with like those kind of answers. I was talking with
Yeah.
this dude on Instagram the other day, and he was doing a poll about that because he took a picture of like a little design article, and it was like some like old designer saying like the color purple is not allowed in the studio, like it's a banned color or
I
whatever.
think I saw that like on Twitter or some yeah, something similar.
Yeah, and I was like, and he
So
was he basically did a poll like, what do you think about this? And I said like, I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't. It's not my favorite, but I don't know if I would like write off purple forever. I might need it someday.
the logic behind that. I
Yeah,
need
I
to
don't know.
know.
It's pretty weird. Um,
So weird.
you're from Singapore, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was always wondering a little bit about, because I've never really chatted with anyone from there. And I was kind of curious, how is like graphic design, or I guess like design career paths in general, like looked at over there? Is it like common, or is it like
Mm,
good? Like, is it like, do older generations think it's like a good idea and stuff like that?
I think it's not sure. I think it's a good mix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For my circle, my parents at least, they're like, because my dad's he's an interior designer, so
Mm-hmm.
like in my family is pretty we're like really creative. And we kind of like encourage they kind of encouraged me to go to design too.
Yeah.
As for like friends, yeah, I think it's pretty common.
Mm.
It's not like looked down upon, but I think the more like popular routes would be like more people would take like business and stuff like that. That's
Mm.
like the most successful you can go. But yeah, there's still like some really respectable, highly respectable design studios here, which like I wanted to go to before, but like no anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like there's kind of there's a lot of studios and like tech companies and things like that in like these metropolitan areas all over the world that you would never even think of, because I feel like people in the United States, like they're always just thinking about like the big three, like maybe, like LA, New York, and like maybe like nowadays like Seattle or Austin or San Francisco or something like that, when there's like the best studios, some of them are all in like Europe and things, and like there's so many like
Hmm.
things around the world, even in Asia and Africa and all over. And I think that with the internet, it's cool because you're exposed to a lot more of that, and you like design has become a lot more like the entire globe contributes to like the aesthetic of like what's going on. People are actually seeing like, oh, this is going on here, this is going on there, rather than before. I'm sure it was a lot more like condensed geographically.
Hmm. True. Um, yeah. Funny you say that because even like I used to be when I was in school, I used to be like really inspired by all these like international studios. I remember at one point I wanted to like it was like my dream to apply at what was it? Was it Buck? Have you heard of
Mm,
Buck Studios? The like the
yeah,
animation.
yeah,
Because
it's
I
over
took
here.
like yeah, they have it there too. They have like the was the other one in like New York, I think.
Hmm.
And because I took motion graphics as my minor in when I was in school, and like I thought like okay, I'm just gonna go to one of those three
Right.
places. Like one the other one was like Sydney or something. But now like um now like I don't know. Like I think freelance is the way. It's just like I think the appeal for working full time at like an agency just died down for me. Um I haven't even like put my portfolio together,
Yeah.
like my resume together ever since like because I graduated last year
Okay.
and I haven't got like the motivation to like get things together. And then I got on Instagram. Then that's where I just like it just happened like really fast. Then I just got my clients and like, okay, I think I'm set. I
Hmm.
think what what's the point of like working on my like on a really fancy portfolio for like big studios to see when like I can just do Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think especially with like this past year and in COVID and stuff too, I think that it made a lot of people look at like what they really value in like their career, in terms of like the studio is cool. And like when I first graduated, I always fantasized about kind of working in like a small like 10-person studio, like open floor plan and like this kind of cool like art vibe. But then like I've worked with some of those companies freelance and stuff, but like being on your own now, like I don't know, like it's hard to put a price on like the freedom to like do things when you want to do them and like be able to work like on your own time, and like it is more stressful I guess in a sense to
Yeah.
freelance because it's not as guaranteed, but I feel like the highs of it are like pretty rewarding and kind of make up for like the stressful times or maybe the times where you don't have as much work.
Um, yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to like I want to like agree, but I wouldn't be able to compare because like I just went straight into freelance.
Yeah.
Like I never done any like any internship before, not even when I was in school. So like
Mm.
I don't know what that's like. Um, yeah, maybe I'll still try it out someday. It's not like I'm like not open to the idea of it, but
Right.
right now it's like it's good. So I'll just keep this up for as long as I can.
Yeah, and also you're very young, so you don't have to. It's not like you have
Yeah.
to commit now to be like, nope, freelance forever. You know, no studios. I'm sure you'll have different thoughts on it as you grow up and throughout the different years and everything.
I don't like making like 5-year plans or
Hmm.
those type of I'm gonna go to New York one day. No, I just like whatever happens in the moment, like I'll just take the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good because like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get stuck in like my ways of like everything has to be planned out and scheduled, but once it gets like too far ahead of time, it's kind of like how would you even know what's going to be happening then, you know? Like no one would have planned for COVID, like no one can plan for any other natural disasters. You can't plan for like what's going on with politics. Like there's so many things that for you to say like in 5 years I'm going to be doing this, it's almost like I don't know, like conceited in the way that you think that like you can figure out something that far in advance. It seems kind of
Yeah,
impossible.
exactly. COVID's like literally changed everything, like how we think about things in the future. Like, oh, anything can happen. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
I think obviously like COVID, all the bad things that happen with it like suck, and I don't think that it's an equal trade-off or anything, but the good things in terms of what it did to people's like mindset I think is positive, because I think people now value a lot more like just like they were working in jobs that they didn't like, or they were doing things that like just kind of stuck in like this mindless state almost in a way of like whatever, like the day to day. And then it made people kind of think like, damn, these people can just fire me at any time, or like something like this can
Mhm.
happen. And do I really want to be doing this? Like, I think the good things that happen out of it is a lot more people like took chances and kind of like pursued these own things. And like, I don't know, I probably would have never done this or even like the channel without COVID, because I was just like at my house and I didn't like when I don't work for a while, I start to get like anxiety and I don't know what to do. So it gave me something to do. And I think that I'm glad that I'm not glad that COVID happened, but I'm glad that I was able to, you know, like swing it in a positive note at least.
Mhm. It's like it's made us take more risks. The
Hmm.
same for me. Like I wouldn't have started my Instagram if it weren't for COVID.
Yeah.
I think I think right now, if it weren't for COVID, if COVID didn't happen, I would probably be like in a 9 to 5 job, like 100%. Because I don't know, like the pressure of like finding a job is like
Hmm.
real. Like you see your friends just even like during lockdown, like I saw my friends like just applying for like just going to like every studio, like but like no one's gonna take you because like they're all like they're all like not accepting people. I don't know why. Like I just didn't
Hmm.
bother. Like I didn't bother like applying for any jobs because like yeah.
Yeah.
So lucky like my Instagram thing happened. Like I'm just a lot of it is luck though. Like there's like the risk that we take, but then there's also like luck.
Hmm.
I'm super lucky like how I got here. I still don't understand like I don't even post so often. I don't know how that happened, literally.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
um I forget there's this guy that I watch on YouTube. I referenced him before and I feel like his name's Ali Abdal. And I feel like I'm just always giving him free plugs. But the he had this like formula where he was saying like success. It was something like um luck plus skill plus like unfair advantages or something like that. And so like what he basically equated that to is like, for example, like your unfair advantage was that you had all this time to like post on Instagram and grow this account, even though like maybe someone else wouldn't have that same like time to invest in that. Or like my unfair advantage is I live where I live, so I'm able to connect with specific type of people. And like it's, and then all that combined with your skill obviously matters, but then luck too and timing, like when you put all that together, good things can happen. And it's about you kind of want to assess like what is my unfair advantage, like what can I use that other people don't have to
Mhm.
like propel me ahead in like my career or in life, and just figure it out from there.
That's true. Like, yeah, I guess my unfair advantage would be like I'm literally just at home all day. Like the lockdown for us was like I think I think a good 2 months.
Mm,
And even after that, like we still had to stay home. It wasn't like completely lifted. So yeah. Like having my Instagram just made me stay home more. Like we're allowed to like go out now, but like
hmm.
I'll still stay home. Like I have designing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What like a lot of the stuff you've been doing recently, I feel like with the 36 days and just like the style that's a little bit different than the stuff you're talking about that you used to do. What is that, like what programs do you use for that? Is it just Illustrator and Photoshop? Because I feel like it has a lot of like it has so much
Yeah.
depth to it. It almost is like 3D, you
I
know?
use I use all. So getting to 3D wasn't even like my plan at all. I think
Mm-hmm.
like 36 days of type was like just a really impulsive thing that like I was using that to like practice the style that I was developing. I think it was like what I called it like fake 3D because like I only use Illustrator and Photoshop and not
Yeah.
like real 3D programs. So I call it fake 3D and like okay, I'm gonna keep doing this until Z and then until 9. But then like halfway, I think it was letter O. Um, so I've been using just Illustrator and Photoshop all the
Mm-hmm.
way from A to O. And then for O, I was like, I can't get this right. Like it's not like looking like how I imagine it to be. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna open Blender. Like it's not gonna be hard. I used it once before and like I had so much confidence
Yeah.
and like it didn't work the first time. I got so mad. I just like I closed the program like, okay, I missed one day of 36 days of type. Like, is this worth it for 3D? Then like the thing that I was doing wrong was like I was just skipping through the tutorials. I wasn't being patient enough, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
didn't catch anything. Um, then I started over again the next day, and I really liked it. I liked the O, and then I thought, ah, fuck, like, is this gonna be the start of me using 3D? And then, yeah, it is the start of me using Blender for like everything.
Yeah.
Never like ex I wasn't even interested in like 3D design at all or 3D art
Mm-hmm.
at all. And now I'm like watching tutorials and shit like that.
It's so
So
weird. Like everyone I see on Instagram, especially like once they start using 3D, it's like they just never return to like whatever they were doing. It seems
really,
like they go 3D and then like all their stuff's 3D after that. And like I always find it like interesting because I love like I love like doing things that aren't 3D, and I'm like worried that if I do 3D that I'm gonna fall into like that same rabbit hole and just be like loving 3D
so
and get.
have you tried it yet? Like
No,
using Blender?
I've been talking
I
about it
know.
forever. I feel like I need to hold myself accountable at some point.
Do just do one design, and don't. My advice is don't watch the donut tutorial. I mean, don't try to like sit through everything and think like, okay, I can do this now. Just like search for specific tutorials and then like that's how I did it.
Like just
Because
figure
I was
out the stuff you want to do, basically.
yeah, like just imagine and like okay, I think like the keywords for the tutorial you search it up on YouTube and then like from there they'll be like recommended and then like oh that looks cool and then
Yeah.
like what you imagine it to be will turn out to be like a happy accident that's
Mm.
probably way nicer.
I'm
Yeah.
sure like I would like it though. Yeah, because I had the same. I don't post a lot of it on Instagram, but for some client work and a lot of work I was doing at my previous day job, I was using After Effects a lot, like for fairly simple things, but a lot of ads and things like that. And I was always hesitant to use it because just like timelines kind of scared me. But once I got into it, it's the same way. It's so complicated if you try to watch like the beginner like videos and stuff. But when I was just looking up like, oh, how to do this like typography stuff or like how to do these specific animations like in transitions, it's not that.
Mhm.
It makes it a lot more like humanizing when you figure out a few things. You start to feel better about it. Like, oh shit, I actually know how to do a few things now.
Yeah. It's just like just practice like doing it every day. I got used to After Effects quickly because I had to rush it for one project, like a
Yeah.
group project.
Oh,
And like
really?
they all left me to do it to learn like this thing on my own. So I basically mastered it because my group mates left me to do it. And it was like the timeline was like I had to do it in like a week.
Mm.
It was like a 3 minute animation. Like okay, I can do this, and like all my days were just like After Effects tutorials, and
Yeah.
then I got used to it from there. But that was like when I was in school, and I have to like brush up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think that's the best way to learn though when you're kind of thrown into the fire of like that.
yeah, the unexpected way.
Yeah, it's like it puts the pressure on and you almost like your brain like starts working like overtime, and you're just like trying to do all these things at once and it's like it sucks in the moment and but then you finish it and you kind of get that, it's
You're
like
like, shit,
similar
I
to
can do
like
this.
you go for like a run or something or like you accomplish something like that. It's like that same feeling where after you're like that sucked in the moment, but it's like the runner's high like after like that was cool. Like I learned so much shit.
Hmm. Exactly. Same with Blender. Just try.
Yeah, I'll do it. I've been talking to that dude like Pork a little bit about it, and uh, he keeps telling me like you got to do it, and I'm like I want to,
Yeah.
but
I think I actually got into Blender because of him.
mm,
Um, Not directly, but I like because I've been seeing a lot of Blender stuff. Oh yeah, he was doing 36 days of type
yeah,
in all 3D, right? So
yeah, I believe
I
so.
guess I was kind of inspired by him. Yeah.
Yeah, when you see like people that hadn't done it before, like get into it fairly quickly, it gives you like the confidence a little bit to be like, oh, okay, maybe it's not like this crazy task. Um, I was curious though, like obviously before you use Blender, you said it only happened after like the O, so that was like I think a few months. What was kind of the process like that you used between like Illustrator and Photoshop, like for your final designs? Were you kind of going back and forth between the programs?
So for the concept, I already like have it
Mm-hmm.
sketched out like on a notebook, and then I like take a picture, trace it out in Illustrator first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll work with like the 3D, is it a 3D object tool in
Oh, okay.
Illustrator? I already forgot. Um, Play with that a bit and like the blend tool and whatever, then just transfer over to Photoshop. And then Photoshop is where I play with colors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Illustrator is like all the shapes and like form
Right.
and whatever elements you want to add, and then Photoshop is coloring it. Um, what else? Texture.
Right.
And then that's it.
So by the time you get into Photoshop, like in theory, like the piece can almost be like already flat, right? Because you're kind of just messing with like the hues and like the texture and everything. Like you've already designed for the most part.
Oh, I miss one part. Like in Illustrator, I'd have to work in like it'll be in different layers, right? So I have to like
Mm-hmm.
separate the layers so that in Photoshop it's its own layers. Like there's a way to export so you can make it like that.
Yeah.
So in Photoshop it's as if you're editing what you did in Illustrator, like the same
Mm-hmm.
copy.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
and then just
it's so much easier in Photoshop to handle like color changes and just like experiment with how
yeah,
you want something to look. Illustrator, when you're working in there, every decision you make seems a lot more like final, you know, and you have to go into the
yeah. Yeah.
swatches.
For some reason, like Illustrator feels a bit more dull
Mm-hmm.
than Photoshop. Like this, it's just me. Like it looks
No, I
like
agree.
it's the same RGB, but like why does Illustrator not look like the final? I don't
I
know.
think I don't
Maybe
know,
it's
probably
the
because it's they
texture.
like prioritize like CMYK a little bit more and like it's a lot more print, I guess, stuff
Hmm.
keep it handling it. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's always weird to me too that a lot of these people that I talk to, whether it be like self-taught or it's mostly, I guess it's mostly self-taught designers that some of them don't use Illustrator at all, and which is fine. But I always find that interesting because I used Illustrator first, you know, like that was the first thing I had to learn in school. And like
Same,
we honestly didn't even use Photoshop that much at all when I was in
same,
school. So it's kind of weird that people are like, but then looking at it from their perspective, going from Photoshop to Illustrator, like the pen tool and stuff like that, it can be like pretty intimidating and weird.
I never figured out how to use just pen tool in Photoshop.
Yeah, it
Wait,
is.
like pen tool, like to make like vector shapes.
Uh huh. Right. In
What?
Illustrator.
I didn't. Oh, that's okay. That's wow. I don't know. Yeah. Respect to them because like I also didn't learn Photoshop in school that much. They didn't even put pressure on us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was always Illustrator. Like all my classmates too were like just Illustrator, Illustrator. They were also scared of Photoshop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like it was mostly for like the stuff I did in like the photography classes and things like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
were
yeah.
mostly
Yeah, exactly.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
But now
Yes.
it's like I mostly use Photoshop, or even if I don't use Photoshop the whole time, it's like what you were saying with like it's definitely involved in the process or in the workflow somewhere, even if it's something as small as like taking in the final design just to mess with like the hue slider and see like if I can change anything up. But I don't know, it's cool because like everyone has different ways of doing things and different processes. So I was always curious how you did some of that stuff because like you were saying, fake 3D or whatever. Like I've seen some of your outline views and like they look pretty intense from Illustrator and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah. But there's like the whole debate about like which is better, Photoshop or Illustrator. No, like
It's
it's
apples and
I
oranges, you know.
I feel like if you use it both together, like that's,
Hmm.
more powerful.
It's also like
Mm.
not. I don't know. It's comparing like the wrong things to each other. It's not even, they're not
Yes.
competitors. They
Yeah.
do different things. So it's kind of hard to say like this one's better. Same with like most people don't use InDesign, but I use it for a lot of like layout projects and like print stuff. And I mean, it's not better than Photoshop, I guess, but it's not, you're not doing the same things. It's better for what it does,
Yeah.
you know?
So it's better function for like typography.
Hmm. I was wondering, like, so your style, especially right now, it's very like I think honed and like specific. And have you ever thought about like I guess get into like creating any types of like assets or textures or anything like that?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know about textures because like
Mm-hmm.
I use textures from like True
Online.
Grit.
Oh, True
Yeah, so
Grit.
it's like but yeah, I literally put in my the link in my bio like just use this one because like every
Everyone
time I
asks.
post something, yeah, I was like, what's the one? Yeah. just go to True Grit.
Hmm.
But assets, I don't know. Like I don't know what I would. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
It's hard to think about that stuff. I just figured like I see a lot of people doing things, and I always try to think like, oh, this person could probably do this too and be able to like succeed in it. But when it comes to like selling stuff, it kind of becomes, it's like a whole
maybe like
different mindset.
yeah, because I'm kind of getting into like typography. Like seriously,
Hmm.
I didn't really learn it the right way like in school because my minor wasn't typography, it was motion graphics. So I didn't learn like all the technicalities or like all the names and the shit. I've never made my own font before.
Hmm.
So when I get into that seriously, maybe I can sell like fonts or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I just like I've never gotten to finishing it. It's so hard.
Yeah. I've always wanted to
Mm.
make a font myself, but it it's
You
pretty
stop at like
like
three letters.
it's hard. I just don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want it to be bad. That's the thing. Like I don't. If I put out a font, like I would want to spend like so much time on it. Like people put out fonts like 10 in like 1 year, and I'm just like, holy shit, that's
Did
impressive.
you see the
Because
guy for, I don't know if it was for 36 days of type, but it was around the same time. He did a typeface every day,
really,
one type, like a whole typeface a
wow.
day, and then he did it for, I don't know, I think a whole month or so, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know.
So he made every letter every day.
Whole typeface, like A to
Yeah.
Z,
Oh,
one,
with the numbers
zero,
too. Damn,
the whole, like all the glyphs. Crazy, I don't know.
that's cool.
I
Maybe
think,
we'll have to
yeah,
figure out who that is and give him a shout out because that's pretty
we should
impressive.
invite him on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like us all.
I
Yeah,
would love
do
to
that.
talk about that. That's
I'll find it and send it to you.
all right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff that you do, I know you spoke a little bit about it when you said that a lot of commissions and freelance work that you get comes in, and you think that, or it seems that a lot of people reference some of your older work. Would you say that
Yeah.
that's the most common like situation? Most of the stuff you're working on freelance is that more typographic style you used to be doing?
Yeah. Yeah. The most common one. It's like that one era.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year. It's so long ago. Like I almost forget how to like the process and everything, but it's mainly just thick serif fonts with like there's like a bit of like custom type and like I just add
Mm-hmm.
like some textures to give it like the vintage feel.
Right.
That's the formula.
What kind of stuff like are you getting commissioned for? Is it just like poster designs or is it like branding? What is it usually?
I get a bit of like branding, a bit of like yeah, posters and like everything. Like some music like album covers. The
Mm-hmm.
one I just like shared on my story recently. That was this artist, like he was like my first client from Instagram and then so cool. It's so cool to see like your art on Spotify. That's
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
cool. Yeah, big accomplishment.
Who is the artist?
Miller Blue, like this from UK. There's like I
Okay.
think it's indie pop or something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and so you get most of your clients then, I guess, through Instagram. That's where most people find you.
hmm Instagram. I think I don't know. Sometimes like it's Behance, cause like I was saying the music posters that series of like the thick serif fonts.
Yeah.
I posted it on Behance and it kind of blew up. So I don't know, like they see that on Behance, but
Hmm.
then they'll DM me on Instagram. So I don't know exactly sometimes, but
Yeah.
most of them Instagram.
It's kind of hard to track like the source of where people are coming from because it seems like Instagram is like so much more casual that they just people assume like they'll just message you
Mhm.
on there maybe even if they found it on because like I don't know, I've never got a message on Behance, I don't think, but like I'm sure that other people get clients directly through there too.
Yeah, I'll just start asking my future clients, like, where did you find me, by the way?
Yeah, fill out this quick
Uh,
survey.
but on the hands, there was this one incident. It's so weird. This ad agency reached out to me, and they're kind of, don't know, if big, but they worked with big clients like
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And around that time, I was like considering, okay, maybe I should find a real job now, because like this is a sign, like
Yeah.
they're literally in my DMs, like I should just take it. And then, because I didn't know anything about them, I I it's so professional though. I'm not gonna call them out. The guy messaged me like, you guys have WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we have. He's like, oh, okay, can I send you a WhatsApp? I'm like, okay, just weird. And I said like, can I just like, it's like I want to know a bit more about like your company. Like I have, like the website doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
say much. It's just like clients. I just want to know about like the culture and everything like that. So it's like my inquiry to them, but they took it as if like I want. They took it as if like I was agreeing to like an interview with them, like as if they were gonna interview me for a job. But
Yeah.
I like I wasn't like set on anything yet. I didn't know anything about the job.
Yeah.
Um, long story short, like on the call, it was like really strange. Um, it's so weird because like, why did you reach out to me? Um, and like compliment like my Instagram stuff, and then ask me about like but can you do like professional like commercial stuff? Can you do like for marketing,
Mm-hmm.
food, food brochures and shit like that? Like no, I've never, I don't have any experience in that. And um they're like trying to find other things for me, like more commercial work. But like if you look at my
Yeah.
Instagram, clearly there is no like, not commercial to like your standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they kept looking for that, and I said like, no, I have nothing. But like I kept talking about my Instagram, like stuff that I actually like.
Yeah.
And they see like, actually I think like you're really talented, but like your work is too trendy. Like your Instagram, like everything you do is too trendy.
That's
And like I was like so speechless. What do I say? Like you reached out to me. I wasn't here to apply for a job, by the way.
yeah,
Like
that's
you just
like that's pretty
is
condescending.
is that is that a compliment or like
Uh no, I don't
how do
think
you take?
I mean how it sounds like with the context it sounds like not a compliment, honestly. But it just seems very like condescending that they would you
It's funny.
know,
Like, why did you
like
reach
say
out
like
to
we want to
me?
talk with you, like we love your work, and then start talking with you and start saying like, hey,
Had me
we
like,
like what you
yeah,
do, but can you do this instead? It's like then just get the person that does that you know?
exactly. Like, they had me like there for like 30 minutes talking about my stuff and like what I was actually passionate about, and then they
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, but actually, can you do this? Like, you know, this is like a good paying job and stuff like that because we
Yeah.
work with like big brands. That like from there, like I guess that like defined my perception of like ad agencies. I know they're not all like that, but
Yeah.
like that maybe not want to work for studios.
Yeah.
I'll just do that, I guess. I'll
Yeah.
just
And
be
like,
trendy,
obviously, like what you're doing is working, and you you caught these people's attention enough to reach out to you, and you're getting your own clients in your own style. So I don't think that's what's cool about the internet. Like you don't even need those people really at the end of the day. You can work there if you want, and if you don't want to, that's also fine. You're still going to be able to be successful.
yeah. One last thing, like I'll stop talking about it after this, but like it's really weird how they were promoting their job, like, oh, this is what we do. Um, like our past interns, they know nothing about like commercial work. and then like they cry over just brushing up on the like burgers. They cry over that. We make them cry over that. Like, are you ready to accept that? Like, would you be willing to work with us to go through that? I just like
Yeah.
so speechless. Like, are you selling yourself, or like are you making me not want to, you know, so weird.
In their defense,
What's
like
wrong?
I used to work at this one agency where we did key art, like movie posters and stuff for Netflix and things, and
Mhm.
they they're probably not lying because I worked with some other junior designers and interns, and we'd be there sometimes till like 10, 11, midnight, and I think I saw a few almost criers in my time there. Like we definitely got worked like crazy.
I guess,
It's not
yeah.
a good environment. I don't think, at least.
I imagine it's just like the same as like deadlines, like when you're in school,
Hmm.
like that deadline submission period. I see
Right.
criers doing. Just imagine that, but in a workplace setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that it's hard to say because there's a lot of, it's like anything, there's a lot of bad experiences of agencies and studios. And then there's people I know I talk to, and it's like they couldn't be happier in this like cool small studio they're in. I think yeah, it's just like anything. There's going to be bad examples and there's going to be
Mhm.
good examples for
I
sure.
think for me it was just because that was the first, like my first
Uh
experience,
huh.
really like on a call with them and like, oh no, is this what you guys are like? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I guess I'm gonna find some better studios when I need a
Yeah.
real job.
What are can you talk at all about like the commissions you're working on? Are you just working on a few? Like,
I can't really can't explain in depth, but
mm-hmm.
one of it is like merch. The other one is like a logo
Oh,
for,
cool.
yeah, a logo.
Yeah.
But they're big projects, so just like revisions and revisions. I like working with them though. They're really nice.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a very the visuals that they have is very refined. So like I like that. Good. Like then I don't have to like imagine for you,
Yeah.
you know.
Sometimes it's nice to like work with brands that already have like a really established visual identity or like something to kind of work within, because then it's not like every time you're not starting from like scratch. There's
Yeah,
some substance there to build off of. Um,
I enjoy it. Yeah.
what was I gonna ask you? I was gonna ask you a little bit about. So probably I think I either met you on a blend of both Instagram and in Elliot's server, because I know you are involved in that a bit, and I was kind of wondering how you kind of met him, and like what made you kind of get involved with that whole like group and everything like that.
Um, so I think it was also like the story is also like how I started my Instagram too. It's like all related.
Mm-hmm.
Um, think like it was in lockdown, really bored. So I had my separate design account,
Mm-hmm.
and I was already following Elliot. Um, but he was just like I think he was doing like Instagram lives, like Instagram evaluations on his Insta live, and
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah, I don't understand what is this, kind of intriguing. Um, just watched one, and then I think like the next few days he started streaming. Um, then I joined like the very first stream, met like some cool people, and that's where we formed like the Discord community, and like I made some good friends. Um, and yeah, and like around the same time, I didn't have any Instagram. I just felt like major FOMO because so cool. Like everyone has an Instagram. Like everyone's like sharing
Yeah.
their art. Like I don't have anything. So like, okay, I'm gonna make an Instagram. And that's how, yeah, and that's how I got involved and became like a server mod and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I mean, it sounds like that's a good, like, because I always felt like, oh, we're talking about I guess Elliot is a cool guy. If I didn't kind of preface that, but he has a really interesting and kind of involved like Discord community and server, and his Twitch stream and things around called like the typehaus, and Jasmin's pretty involved in there, and it's pretty cool because he's definitely created like a good community, and like you were saying, it kind of sparked your a little bit of more of your interest in pursuing your thing. And I mean, you almost have like 10,000 followers on Instagram, and that's a pretty short amount of time. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool that it just kind of came out of that, you know, being like, oh, well, everyone else is doing it. Let me get into it. And I think what's good about those communities is that I don't think by any means Elliot like single-handedly like brought these communities together. However, he did kind of spark a trend, I think, in people being a lot more caring, and kind of like everyone has a Discord server now. It seems like everyone
Yeah.
has a group
Yep.
chat
Yep.
or
Yep.
like some kind of share page. Like it definitely
Yeah.
almost like democratized like or something design in a way, and made it a lot more like, I don't know, like for everyone, I guess is the kind of, for lack of a
I
better term.
guess I wasn't there to like see it from before the type house formed. Like I don't know what design Instagram is like because I joined like the same time
Mm-hmm.
uh the Discord started. But now that you say it, like I realized like a lot of it's a trend, I guess, to like start a Discord design server.
Mm-hmm.
I mean like so many right now, I lost count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Like I've spoke with this with a few other people, especially younger designers. Like I've been involved in design and like I guess the community of it online for, I would say, maybe a year or two longer only than like a lot of the people I've talked to. Uh, Yourself, Emma, another episode, and a few other people like that are kind of just, I don't know, whatever, younger designers. And it was definitely different. Like there was a lot more pretentiousness around design. There was a lot more gatekeeping around design, and there was also just a lot more general, like, at least for me, like just fear in like posting your work, and like people were really quick to like kind of roast you online, like honestly. And like I felt like everything was a bit more locked down. And what's funny is I think COVID is another thing that kind of, everyone was online, so it was kind of, I
Yeah,
guess, let's be
yeah.
nice to each other, and like everyone like have fun online because that's all we got, you know. You can't really escape
Yeah,
for it for a while.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, like my luck comes in. Like I found the Discord the same time I started my account. So
Mm-hmm.
like I was super lucky to have like really supportive friends from the beginning. And they're still my friends today. It's gonna be like 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
like next month. So fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think I really like the state of like the the internet, or whatever you want to call it right now, around design and art and just kind of creativity, because I think like I kind of spoke about this like too much now, but I think all like it's kind of all parallelly like worked to be more positive. You have people becoming more positive and creating more communities. You also have myself. I was like actually trying more to like do stuff online and be more active and actually like become a human, not just like post a random poster every like 3 weeks or whatever. And then also with COVID, yeah, like all the things kind of came together to form like a perfect opportunity for like community to get created and people to feel a lot more involved. And I think it's like a snowball effect. When you see someone being more involved and being kind and being, I guess, outspoken or like vulnerable, whatever you want to call it, it can inspire other people to think like, well, maybe I should try that instead of just being like nervous or scared, anything like that.
I guess what you said about like being more human on Instagram. I agree. It was like golden era during lockdown period because everyone was more I feel like more wholesome and like I don't know if it was because I was a smaller account or yeah, or because like now I'm a bit bigger, I don't feel like a small account anymore. I don't not the same kind of
Mm-hmm.
interaction. Um, right now I feel like might not be the same for everyone, but like my Instagram's been looking a bit like just ads, like just like I get because people are like COVID's not how do you say this? Like life's coming back to normal again.
Mm-hmm.
So like everyone's starting to work again. Like now like Instagram is like just like okay, promotion, promotion, promotion. Like I rarely see more art these days.
Mm.
But I get it. Like people have to like do what they have to do. But I feel like during lockdown it was like the best for me, like the best era.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
And
you
I
feel the
mean,
same way.
thankfully so, because it would have sucked if when it was like peak lockdown and you couldn't go anywhere. It would have sucked if like the internet sucked too, and like you didn't even want to go there either. At least you had that.
Hmm.
And I've met tons of
Hmm.
people this past year that probably wouldn't have interacted with, and I also probably wouldn't have developed like as close of like a relationship with. Like I used to not really uh talk with the people I met online in a way as if like they were my friend, you know. They were just kind of, we would just maybe sometimes reply to each other on Twitter or Instagram or Discord, whatever. But now it feels a lot more like mutual, I guess. Like kind of like, how, what do you like? Hey, oh, this is cool. Like, what are you up to though? Not just
Yeah,
like, this is cool. That's it.
yeah. It's yeah, it's becoming a bit more than just like internet mutuals, right?
Hmm.
Like, because now everything's online. I guess anyone can like really be your friend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, and especially with like when I'm working with clients and working with freelancing, not only with individuals but freelancing with like companies, like it's all online still, like even though it's more open, like everyone's kind of changed their perspective on like communication. Like they're kind of just like, let's just do Zoom. Like even though you're a few miles from here, back in a year ago they would have
Yeah,
wanted to meet at like the studio or at the coffee shop or something. But now people realize like everyone's kind of like a pro at talking on video calls now. Like they've done it so much. It's kind of like, what do we really need to drive around LA traffic just to talk about this logo, you know?
it's just more convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Um, yeah, I get like same thing though, like with because I'm one of the typehaus Instagram team members.
mm-hmm.
There's like seven, eight of us, and we're all from like different parts of it. There are like two from UK, two from
Yeah.
Australia. Like we're all like in different places, and we're like there was a period of time where we would like regularly host collabs, and it was so weird. It's like, am I like in an office with you guys? It feels like we're all in the same room because like we're
Yeah.
always constantly talking. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That stuff is cool. And I think everyone can benefit from getting more involved with people online, and just like obviously respect like your time and don't waste all your time on social media. However, the time that you do spend on it, I think just think about it a little bit more and like see what you can do to actually like create relationships and benefit from it, rather than just like doom scrolling and getting insecure about likes or not posting your work or whatever. Like at the end of the day, all this stuff could just go away, and well, you want to feel that you've like had a good time with it rather than a
Mhm.
negative relationship.
Just post whenever you want. I wish like the culture of like scheduled posting would just, like I wish you'd stop that. I wish it was a trend to not do it anymore
Yeah.
because it's just so much. Yeah,
Only post in the middle of the night from now on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Don't use hashtags or whoever.
Yeah, for sure. And one last thing, I guess, do you have any other plans upcoming for your Instagram page or anything like that after you're just finished? I know you finished the type stuff recently. Do you have anything on the horizon?
Mm, it's like too many things. I don't know. It's just like all
Hmm.
jumbled up. I feel like I have like a million tabs open.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm definitely gonna work on some more 3D stuff because
Nice.
like my client work is just like not letting me do that. Um,
Hmm.
maybe finish a typeface. Don't know. I feel really ambitious right now when I'm doing client work. Then when I'm actually free, it's like, okay, maybe I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, why is it always like that? But yeah, those two things for sure. But maybe like I've been saying this for like 6 months now. Like maybe I'll actually start making prints. It's really
Yeah.
hard.
Do it.
Like I just like shipping. I live in Singapore.
I know.
Yeah,
It sucks. It's
sucks.
hard. I've thought about
Oh,
it, and I feel like my 50% of my target audience I'd have to exclude if I wanted to make any money. Like so many people
yeah,
are from
exactly.
different countries.
So I'll, I guess, spend more time figuring that out than actually making the print itself.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what I have in mind.
Awesome. And is there anything else that you want to plug before we get out of here and go over to the Patreon for the Q&A?
Mm, just like Kool.Type, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all.
So check out it's cool.type for Jasmine's work on Instagram. And then you have some stuff on Behance too, right? It's just your name.
Yeah, can like see in my link in bio.
Hmm. Okay, cool. So go check out Jasmine's link in bio and go over to the Patreon if you want to learn a little bit more and hear about this little Q&A we're going to do. And thank you again for chatting with me. It was awesome.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.